it's Raquel. Welcome back to Recovery to Wellness. This is where survivors radiate badassery, and it is currently May 12th, 2024. Hi! So, I was thinking about filming a video, like, all throughout the day, and then I fell down like a rabbit hole on YouTube, and now I'm in like a weird like I don't get like existential crises that much anymore, but like I get like something I call existential awareness, where I just become very like I'll be sometimes I'm like getting ready for bed or something, and I'll be laying in bed or whatever, and then I'd be like, one day I am going to cease to exist, and that's like and then it's that awkward like, oh, okay. Great, like I still have to like eat breakfast or something. Like it's like so like random and stuff. Anywho, so it just came up because I was watching a bunch of like House MD clips and stuff, and like sort of like smaller, episodes and stuff like that, and not like an actual episode, but like just like clips and videos and compilations and stuff like that. And then I went on to watching from the House MD channel the like first 10 minutes of the first episode of House, and then the last 10 minutes of the last episode of House. And then I also came across a song that I haven't heard in like years, and I love that song, and I was like, oh, and then I listened to it, and then I was like, oh, what about this other song about grief, which was the other song about grief was like When You Lose Someone by Nina Nesbitt. So then I was listening to that, and then I was like, oh, Lift Me Up from Rihanna, and then I was like, oh, Wakanda Forever. And then like I don't know, so it just got, now it's just weird, and now I'm like, that's yeah. That happened. So now I'm just in a weird like, oh yeah, existential. And then I also want to talk about how this one time kind of reminds me too. I actually have a lot of books on grief, none of which I've read, but I have a lot of books on grief that I do want to read one day. So that will be one of the plans. So I kind of want to just talk a little bit about this existential weirdness that I'm in right now, and then also some of the things that I've been thinking about today, and then the kind of, it's gonna be a kind of a weird video, I think. But one of the things, so I went to the Nick's library back in the winter this year. I think it had like snowed. It was starting to snow when I was still at the library, and then I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like it was snowing when I was going up there, and then it was snowing when I was like, leaving again after being in the library for maybe an hour or two. And then I was on the way home, and then where I was going through, it was like really, really snowing, like really bad. Like there were 3 to 5 instances where I was like, holy shit, like, because I was driving in a snowstorm, and like I'm on a highway, and there's like I can't see anything, like all this kind of stuff. So there was actually, it reminded me of a book that I own now. I've owned it for a while, and I've taken out the hardcover version of it. What I own is the paperback version, which is like, but the hardcover version has more of like sort of like chapters where like it tells you, okay, this is like a snowy scene and it's nighttime, and then a snowy scene where it's like dusk, or snowy scene where it's like dawn, things like that. But in the paperback it doesn't have that. It's just like throughout the whole thing. But it's called No Exit, I believe by Adam Taylor, maybe, or Taylor Adams. I think it might be Taylor Adams. No Exit. And I just remember I was in this snowstorm, and I was like, I could only remember like the plot of like, because I've never read the book before, but like I remember the loose amount of plot that I knew of from the summary of how like it's like about this person is going through a snowstorm, and then she like comes to a hotel or something, and then or she finds like a kid trapped in a car, and like she has to figure that whole thing out, and she only has until, there's all the stuff, there's a killer on the loose, like who knows, right? So I just was in the snowstorm, and I was like, I cannot, like this is not how I'm not gonna perish in the snowstorm. I have to like get home to read this book. like I cannot. I had to know how this book goes before anything else. So I don't know, it's just kind of funny, and it was just kind of like, you know, I was like, nope, I have to, and I was like listening to like one song on my iPod, and I'm like, I have to survive because I have to finish, I have to read this book, and I have to finish it, and I have to do all the things. And so I made it out and everything. I still haven't read it, but I did make it out of the storm at least, that's good. Other things, I would love to actually complete a fanfiction story. Like, you guys, I don't know if you understand, like, I have so many fanfics, and like, I have like 20 posted online, but like, I think only maybe 4 or 5 of them are like one-shots, which is just like one chapter, and that like the whole story is just one thing, not like multiple chapters, story of multiple chapters. But I would like only 4 of them are like that, and I have like 20, so all the rest of them are like in progress fanfics like most of which are from Loki Avengers and stuff like that, like Thor and Loki and Avengers fanfics. Those are all still in progress, and I started them. Most of them I've started in 2016. It's like 8 years, guys. Like, I haven't finished anything. I would love to actually finish a fanfic. That would be amazing. And then also, that's only the 20 that I have posted online. That's not even counting, like, I have like maybe 2 to 4 other ones that I, like, there's probably like 5 in my mind that I want to write that I haven't like gone any distance with at all. From reading a lot of fanfiction lately and like even watching those house clips and stuff, now I'm coming up with other ones, but and then I have like definitely 2 that I'm writing that are in progress, but I haven't like done enough to like edit and then upload them. So I have a lot of fanfiction, but I like start so many things, but then I don't finish them. And I would love to actually complete a fanfic before, you know. So, yeah, I just think that's funny. And then, like, I don't know, like, I've never really talked about it on my, I've actually been thinking again, today I've been thinking again about doing, the things you didn't know about me video. I think that would be fun and interesting. I uploaded a haul yesterday, and it got, like, so many views, and I'm like, I don't understand. I'm so confused. I don't understand YouTube at all. But, I also wanted to do a short on, like, the sort of reasoning. I'm gonna do like a video, and then I'm gonna film a short because I have to figure out what I'm gonna say video wise, and then do a short of it, and like that way I can get it kind of scripted-ish a little bit. But I want to do like a short on like why I include the intro song that I do and the outro song that I do, and like do that as like a video, like a short video, like an actual short, because I'm gonna use the phone tripod and everything. So I do plan to do that. That's an idea that I have and I want to do very soon. But yeah, like I've always been like really like aware of mortality, like always, like ever since I was little. And like it makes sense why the OCD that I lived with for my young adulthood life, like why it focused on mortality as well. Like that was like, obviously if that was my biggest fear, that makes sense that OCD would sort of like jump on that, claw onto that in a sense. But I grew up like Catholic and such, and then I went through my teenage rebellion where I became an atheist. And then, but it was funny because I wrote so much, like even like in high school, middle school, stuff like that, I wrote all the time about death. But then I became an atheist, and then I was like, but I still wrote about the afterlife. It's weird, it doesn't make any sense. But I wrote like a lot about afterlife and ghosts. Well, maybe not ghosts, but just afterlife and like mortality and like death and like dying and all of that. And then I started struggling with my mental health, and then, which is gonna be 10 years now. It'll be 10 years since I've been diagnosed, which is wild. And then more mortality. So I feel like it's interesting because I think I kind of think of myself as like, I used to be super, super, super creative, before my mental health struggles, but I think I still kind of am pretty creative despite afterward, in a sense. Like if I think of life before mental health conditions and then after mental health conditions. There was something I was thinking about that I don't know if I ever talked about on video before, but I do remember before the OCD got really bad, like, because I knew what life was like before, like, from, like, when I was really young to, like, 21. Like, I knew what normal life was, what my normal brain was, and then as the OCD, you know, really blew up once I got diagnosed, and then I lost who I was to my identity, there was a time where, like, I genuinely, like, it was like I was normal, and then I started to sort of, you know, shift, and then eventually I just fully went into a mental health, like, struggle thing, and then it was, like, before and after, in a sense, and that was hard. I had a lot of intrusive thoughts about, like, oh, I was faking it, or, like, I was the OCD was for attention, or it wasn't really OCD, or whatever. Spoiler, it was. But all that kind of stuff, so I don't know. It's interesting because, like, something that I really want to write. So also another thing, I really want my next, like, career move, probably in the next 2 years or so, I want to become a published author. I've always wanted to be an author, since I was, like, 9. I actually worked, I don't know if I ever talked about this in a video because I thought about it before, but I actually was working on a novel when I was, like 12, 13, 14 or so. I got up to, like, 212 pages, and I kind of remember what it was about, so I don't know, but I always dreamed of publishing it and stuff, but I never finished it, so story of my life right there. Just never finished things. So yeah, I thought I was really creative. I think I was very creative. Like, I would just see, like, you know, a picture and stuff. Like, I remember a lot of my high school DeviantArt days, you know, I'd see somebody post, like, a picture of a sunset, and I'd be like, oh, can I write a story to that? They'd be like, yeah, sure, and I write, like, a story. Like, anything was, like inspiring to me, kind of thing. And then I felt like when I went through mental health struggles, then I felt like I lost a lot of that. But I don't know how true that is necessarily, because, like, right now in my life, at this point in my life, I do a lot of fan fiction writing and a lot of group writing and stuff. So, like, a lot of my writing, I mean, essentially my job at work is to create groups, present groups, and document groups. So a lot of my writing now is going into work. You know, writing, like, I mean, it's documentation, but it's, like, you know, like, psych, medical documentation kind of thing. And then, like, and then fan-fiction. And then I don't really blog as much as I used to way back in 2016. But blogging, technically, I guess technically I blog on Reddit a little bit, depending, you know, if it's, like, curious, specific, and things like that. I haven't been on a lot of other Reddit threads lately, but I probably should. That'd be interesting. And then I write, like, YouTube descriptions and stuff like that, but I don't know, it's just the shifting tide, in a sense. I've reached a point where, for groups, I just buy props. I just buy props. But also, before I get to that, I do want to say, too, I do remember when I was in college, I don't remember if this was before, after, or somewhere in the mix, but I do remember whenever I would read a textbook, I would get, like, I'm like, oh, that's a good, like, art idea, and then I would write it down somewhere, and I would be like, you know, I would get a lot of art ideas and stuff out of that. But I can say I still get like that when it comes to reading, like, novels, or, like, maybe not novels, but, like, non-fiction books and stuff. I'll be like, oh, well, that's gonna be a great, like, art idea. Like, oh, draw that, like, mandala, or, ooh, draw, like, that, like, dream house, like, floor plan. And so I do stuff, or I'm like, ooh, that would be a great group to do, like, a topic on and stuff. So I am still very creative. I guess it's just not in the same way that it used to be. And I'm still trying to, especially in photography, I'm still trying to find my sort of style and such too. And I think photography is also a little bit more difficult, I think, partially working in, I mean, now it's different because partially I think working in a psych hospital, like one of the things I was saying this year was like during the springtime, I was like, it's like it kills me inside to be a photographer and not be able to take pictures at work because there's so many cool, you know, things and stuff. I mean, I've taken some a little bit here and there, but like not like of the building or anything like that. But then like it's like also like I'm spending more of my time at work, and so if it's a really nice like foggy morning or something, I'm going to work. I can't really like, you know, step out and like take a picture kind of thing. In some ways I got it around that by a couple times I've brought I brought my camera to work and stuff, kept it in my car, and then like did whatever after work or something. But it's hard when it's like, it's hard when I require the sun for a lot of my photos, and so like things are in bloom, but they're only in bloom for a little bit, and then if it rains, then all the flowers go away, and then it's annoying. And then sometimes it's cold outside, so I just don't even want to go outside, so then I stay in my room, and it's a whole thing, you guys. Like, but I think also I'm a lot more like, if I'm in an experience, I kind of want to just be in that experience as fully present as I can, and I don't really take pictures or like do video stuff with it. There's more of a gap, I would say. There's more of a, oh, that could be a photo. And because I think when I was like before 10 years ago, I'd see a thing and I'd be like, yeah, I automatically start taking pictures. But now it's more of like, oh, that could be a photo, and then sometimes I still do take a photo of it, and then I do a photo shoot and stuff. But then sometimes I'm just like, yeah. And then I don't, so I don't know. So photography definitely took a hit when it came to all these like mental health struggles and, you know, like, stuff. What else do I want to talk about? I was also thinking today about how if I didn't have my job, what would I be doing? Which I think is a really interesting question, and, you know, something to think about at times, you know. Also, another thing that I was thinking about on Saturday, which was yesterday, I keep kind of forgetting it's Sunday, honestly, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's already Monday, but it's not, it's Sunday. But one thing I was thinking about yesterday was kind of being a little bit more grateful for, like, you know, because I went to this like plant sale. I didn't find any of the plants, but it was like a plant sale thing, and like Mother's Day, like vendors and stuff like that, like art vendors and things, which I bought some stuff at, and I did a haul and everything. But I saw a few people who were in wheelchairs and stuff, and it kind of just made me kind of be a little bit more appreciative of sort of my body and where I'm at, and that I can walk around and do things. And, you know, it was just a little reminder of like the impermanence of life. And then I think I was talking about grieving. I have books on grief that I haven't read. I would like to read them one day, and I probably should do it soon. No time like the present. And yeah, I don't know. Life is weird. Life is like, I think that's the other thing, is like life is both fleeting and at times incredibly long. Like, it's hard to like wrap my head around it that life is fleeting, because there's often so many days and time, and it's almost like I have so much time, I can waste so much time, but then like at the same time, like, life is fleeting, and so it's kind of just a weird like paradox, like a weird juxtaposition of life is both fleeting and incredibly long. Maybe, but with no guarantee, I guess, too, which is just confusing and like mind-numbing, mind-boggling, right? How can life be both short and long at the same time? How can life be both pain and love? How can life be both happiness and sadness, how can life be life and also death? Like, the natural cycle of growth and decay. I don't know. It's interesting. I think another interesting point is, like, I could share with you guys some of my creative writing from when I was in college. I have some original stuff that I wrote when I was first diagnosed. And then I was going to talk to you guys about my memoir. I want to write a memoir, but because I got hospitalized like almost a year and a half ago, I kind of think I have to wait further on being able to do that as a project. But then I also have my 4 recovery art projects that I really do want to like actually revisit and really make some content around online, but also like try to do it in real life and everything too. And then there's also the idea that I had, so a lot of well, like half of them came out from 2016, and then like there was also like the TED Talk that I wanted to give, which I also, like, if I can actually establish more of my recovery art projects, then I could eventually go forth to like try to endeavor in that direction. And then I want to be a published author, and then I want to try to go into like public speaking or like speaking engagements and things like that. I want to take a class, any kind of workshop or something to like help myself with group leader kind of stuff or work, and then also take an online public speaking class in June, and really just kind of expand outwards. I really want to be able to value time and be able to use my time as effectively as possible and as productively as possible, and also as sort of rechargeable as possible. That's really important to me. And I really want to get into like more creative storytelling as well, like video storytelling. I think that would be interesting. I don't know how like to learn that necessarily, but that would definitely be something that I want to get into. Maybe I'll join like a writing class or something too. That'd be kind of cool. And then another funny kind of thing I think is like, I don't necessarily realize it as much myself because I don't go back very often to reread all of my fanfic at one time. Like I don't like just like sift through all 20 of them and read it at the same time, right? So I don't know as well, but it's funny, I think, that like because it's me writing it, I pretty much write like the same tropes and the same like type of thing, just in different ways in various stories, and it's just really funny because like I can only imagine if I actually read it all in one sitting, like one thing, like all of them in one, then I'd be like, oh, this is pretty much the same story, it's just like different titles, some slightly different characters, and like slightly different connotations and stuff. So I don't know, I guess it just makes it more me in a sense. And then I also have my memory issues, which are good for like 20 minutes. Like my memory issues are both a blessing and a curse, because I know that I can it takes me about 20 minutes before I forget whatever was bothering me, unless it's like something I'm particularly perseverative over. But normally though, unless I have cues as well, I give myself like 20 minutes and then I'll forget, and then it's fine. And then I don't have to think about it again. Because it goes into this like vacuum in my mind, and I just poof, the access to those memories is just no longer there. So I don't know why some things I have better access to, like more easily retrievable memory things, versus other things that are just not. And then I was also thinking today about how I feel like it's almost strange, if I have to put a judgment on it, that to be happy and stable and working at a psych hospital where predominantly most, if not all, the patients are depressed and suicidal. And so it's kind of like, oh, right. Like I think I think I like operate on like a blissfully oblivious like standpoint, where I can see life for all like the sort of more meaningless kind of things, and then forget that the people I'm working with are in the sort of crux, in the shambles, in the like bunker of all of it all at once. So I think I kind of like, I can see the slivers versus the whole moon being their sky in a sense. And because I have the advantage of the slivers, I kind of forget that like that's not the same perspective that, you know, patients that I'm working with are at. But it's also like something that like I almost can't let myself fully understand. Like I get it because I have lived experience, so in a way I get it, but at the same time I don't fully like let myself feel it, because if I do, then I'm also not can't go to work, right? Can't go to work when you're unstable and like fucked up. So I don't know, it's just like I have to be happy and stable, but it just comes at a cost, to the sense that I can almost, it's almost like I can relate so much that I just can't relate at all, because I have to have that protective factor of like, no, I'm happy and like healthy and like, you know, life is great and life is awesome, while also sort of balancing that life for them is not, but that they can come to where I am because I have, and I don't know. And then I also have been thinking lately about how it's interesting that like having those boundaries with patients at work, where like I don't even like admit that I mean, there's some things I admit, like I talk about my avoidance and like perfectionism and stuff like that, but like, you know, I would never say that I have a therapist, like, which right now I don't know, my therapy relationship is charred, but like I wouldn't like say that and stuff, and like I don't know, it's just like interesting of how like I had a point there, but that I in that relationship, you know, I can't say that I have lived experience, but then I go on the internet and tell the whole world. Like, it's just funny. It's just, I don't know, it's just so funny. It's a funny paradox. But those are all my rambles. I should probably go to bed because I'm supposed to go to sleep early, so I should probably go do that. So I will film another video soon, and thanks for being on the ride. It was a time. We were on it for a time, and it happened. So voila, voila. Anywho, I'm gonna go. So thanks for listening to my late night rambles. And as always, stay safe. Much love and light to you. I will see you very soon. More in store, more to say, more to do, taking you along for the journey in a sense. So, yeah. Have a good rest of your day, night, evening, whatever it might be. And I will see you when I see you. Bye.
Guiding like a lighthouse to I will leave the light.